That plugin you just bought is not doing what you think it's doing. It's not cleaning your air, it's not removing the smell that's actually there. It's covering it with a stronger smell and hoping your nose gets confused enough not to notice. And it's doing that while quietly running through chemicals most people would never knowingly spray in a room with their kids in it. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to make an air freshener that actually lasts 3 months from one small batch, costs less than $2, and uses nothing that would make you nervous if a toddler got curious and got close to it. I'm also going to show you what's actually inside the plug sitting in your wall right now, why it needs to be replaced so often, and the one mistake that makes homemade air fresheners grow mold in less than a week if you don't know about it. Let's get into it. If you're new here, hit subscribe and drop a comment telling me which room in your house has the worst smell problem right now. I want to know what we're actually up against. Here's the thing, almost nobody says out loud about air fresheners, plugins, sprays, the little trees hanging in cars, all of it. They don't remove odor. Researchers who've studied this directly are blunt about it. Air fresheners mask the smell that's already there, while whatever is actually causing it keeps sitting there untouched. You're not fixing anything. You're layering a stronger scent over the top and training your nose to stop noticing the original problem. And here's what that stronger scent is usually made of. Independent lab testing on common air fresheners, including ones labeled all natural, has repeatedly found volatile organic compounds and, in a lot of cases, phthalates that weren't even listed on the label. One widely cited test found over 20 separate VOCs coming off a single popular product. Phthalates specifically get used to make a fragrance last longer in the air, and they're linked to hormone disruption. Companies aren't required to disclose exactly what's in something labeled simply as fragrance, so even reading the ingredients on the bottle doesn't tell you the full story of what you're breathing in every time it releases another puff. That's not fear-mongering, that's just what's actually in the bottle, whether or not the label mentions it. And it's exactly why this matters more if you've got kids, pets, or you're just someone who'd rather not have unknown chemicals cycling through your air around the clock. Now let's talk cost, because this is the part that quietly adds up. A single Glade plug-in refill runs somewhere around $4 to $5 and lasts about 30 to 50 days depending on the setting. To cover 3 months, you're buying refills 2 or 3 times over, plus the actual plug-in unit itself, plus the electricity it draws sitting in the wall socket non-stop. Add it up over a year and you're easily spending $40 to $60 just keeping one room smelling like something other than itself. Here's what we're making instead, and it costs about $1.50 to $2 total, a jar of scented gel that sits quietly wherever you put it, no electricity, no ongoing refills, no mystery chemicals. In a small saucepan, heat 3/4 of a cup of water with 2 tablespoons of salt until the salt fully dissolves. While that's heating, sprinkle 1 packet of unflavored gelatin over a 1/4 cup of cold water in a separate cup and let it sit for about 5 minutes to soften. Once your hot water and salt is ready, take it off the heat and stir in the softened gelatin until it's completely dissolved, no lumps left. Then stir in 2 tablespoons of rubbing alcohol. Add 15 to 20 drops of your essential oil of choice. Lavender and eucalyptus both hold their scent well over time. Pour the whole mixture into a small mason jar or any small glass container, and let it sit undisturbed for several hours until it firms into a gel. Once it's set, you can leave the lid off or poke a few holes in the lid if you want to control how fast the scent releases. Now here's the part that actually determines whether this lasts 3 months or turns into a science experiment in your bathroom. That splash of rubbing alcohol you just added isn't optional. Gelatin is, at the end of the day, food left alone with just water and salt. It will start growing mold in less than a week, sometimes within 4 days. The alcohol acts as a preservative. It's what keeps this shelf stable long enough to actually get you through 3 months instead of turning into a mess in your jar. If you skip it because you want something purely natural, understand you're trading shelf life for that, and you'll need to remake a batch every week or 2 instead. If you want to stretch it even further, keep any unopened extra jars in a cool, dark spot like inside a cabinet rather than on a sunny windowsill. Heat and direct sunlight speed up both evaporation and the breakdown of the gel, so a jar sitting in a dark cabinet will hold its scent and its shape far longer than one sitting in direct light. If the scent starts fading before the 3 months is up, and it might around the 2 month mark depending on your room size and airflow, you don't need to remake anything. Just add another 10 drops of essential oil directly onto the surface of the gel and give it a stir with a toothpick. That resets the strength without wasting the batch you already made. One more thing worth knowing if you want a version that's even simpler and doesn't involve any cooking at all: a small open jar of baking soda with 15 drops of essential oil mixed in works as a genuinely effective odor absorber, not a masking agent, an actual absorber. Baking soda pulls odor molecules in and neutralizes them chemically instead of just covering them with a stronger smell. It won't have the same visual appeal as a colored gel, but if you're dealing with a real smell problem, a closet, a shoe rack, a garbage area, this version is doing more actual work than any plugin ever will. And that's really the difference worth understanding here. A store-bought air freshener is built to win a fight against your nose. It has to be strong enough and, frankly, synthetic enough to overpower whatever's actually happening in that room. What we just made either smells pleasant on its own terms, or in the baking soda version, actually removes the odor instead of hiding it. Neither one is trying to trick you into thinking a problem is solved when it isn't. 2 honest notes before you go. First, if you've got a genuinely serious ongoing smell problem, mold, a pet accident that's soaked into something, a source you haven't found yet, no air freshener, homemade or store-bought, fixes that. You need to find and treat the actual source, and these are for maintaining a pleasant smell in a clean space, not covering up a real problem underneath. Second, keep any batch with rubbing alcohol out of reach of small children and pets. It's a small amount and it's not something to worry over, but the gel can look and smell inviting enough that a curious toddler might want to touch it, so treat placement the same way you would with anything you wouldn't want a 2-year-old getting into. Hit like if this saves you a trip to the air freshener aisle. Drop a comment telling me which scent you're making first. Share this with someone who's been buying plug-in refills every month without a second thought. Click the next video for more, subscribe if you haven't. Take care, I'll see you in the next one.